Alrighty guys, here, welcome to yet another video here. Today we are gonna show you 5 tips that I've cooked up here for you for Mythic Plus content. I'm currently sitting around 3,250 rating in my Acid Rogue rank 150 in the world. And I'm poked around some of my higher rated friends for their tips and inputs, and they all agreed on the last tip being something everybody should definitely do here if they want to improve their Mythic Plus gameplay. So if you like and enjoyed the video here, don't forget to leave it a like and watch it to the end for all the good tips. It is a bit of a long one. Don't forget to leave a comment. Tell me your tips in the comments. That would be really nice. And check out the live stream over on twitch.tv/killerchris. Tip number 1 here is do not be greedy on your cooldowns and your DPS. We're all seeing them. We all hate them. The demon hunters who are eye-beaming and then standing in a swirly and dying because they were eye-beaming and that eye-beaming was really important. So don't be that guy. Don't wipe your keys because of you are greedy on DPS here. It is actually way more important, especially in the high keys, to survive. Keep control of the mobs. Make sure no cast goes off that shouldn't go off and kill you. So make sure you dodge stuff. Focus on what's important. And remember, dead DPS is no DPS. So if you die, you're always not going to DPS and you're going to lose out on DPS. You're going to deplete keys and it's generally a bad idea. But again here, we also don't want to be too greedy holding on to our cooldowns for that big opportune moment, because we actually end up holding them for too long for the big opportune moment to be worth it. So send the cooldowns as soon as you have, unless you're coming up on a really difficult pull or a boss where you want to set cooldowns. So trying to manage that, and then it all comes down to practice throughout the keys, when to use your cooldowns, and with different routes comes different cooldown uses. So again, it's always a really good idea to have a tank who has a planned route and shares said planned use via an add-on. I'll tell you more about that later on in the video. Tip number 2 here, add-ons and weakauras.
What do you mean by that?
Increase your DPS more. You want to get some weakauras here to keep track of your own cooldowns and your abilities to make sure you're playing optimally, and preferably have this placed somewhere you can see them and still see what's going on around your character. I recommend having like slightly below the character in the frame, as I'll show here on the screen. And it's a great way to increase your damage. But this is not actually the most important thing you can track with weakauras. The most important thing you can track with weakauras is your mobs and bosses' abilities, so you can make sure you play around them and you can hold cooldowns, CDs, interrupts, CCs. Hold your CC for setups here. Again, a really good example that we ran into multiple times today here in Darkhart thicket is the mobs that spawn, or the elemental that spawns after you kill one of the big elemental. Everybody sends their crap right away to CC, stun them, and they should not cast. But the issue is they don't start casting the important thing, the transformation, till like in a little bit of time. So no reason to CC them until then. Save your AoE silence and stuns, interrupts, and whatever till that happens, and then you'll be fine. Then there's absolutely no way they're gonna transform, and the bolts they send out doesn't hurt that much. So those things that can save your keys, because the more smooth the mechanics go, the more damage you're gonna do, and the better flow the key run is gonna have. So again, always just make sure you keep track of stuff that's going on around you. Your DPS is not actually that important, and what is eventually gonna make your time more keys once you get into like the 24, 25, 26 areas is actually whether or not you can survive, rather than you being good at min-maxing DPS. So the better you are at surviving, the better keys you're gonna time. And then once you learn how to survive those things here and have everything controlled down to the T, then min-maxing your DPS is gonna eventually push your keys higher and higher. And again, add-ons and weakauras will help you out a lot with this. Tip number 3, notice the little things. What do I mean by that? especially when you're pushing keys and pumping out damage and heals, you want to keep a little eye to the little things. For example, I noticed that, hey, evasion is enough to immune the charge from the third boss in Blackrock Hold, meaning I can take 2 charges, or I can save a charge if somebody is in a bad spot and can't use any defensives. Also like the fact that you can jump around looking like a douche canoe of the second boss if you're targeted by the beam as ranged. Use a little ability if you have it that will allow you to cast while moving, or just use instant cast and you can just jump in the spot. And there will be no fire on the ground. Stuff like these little things here you can do to improve and optimize your gameplay and make stuff easier, not only for yourself, but more importantly for your teammates, will just make stuff smoothing a lot easier. Also, on the second boss of Blackrock Hold, with the fell charge, you can all stack up in one tiny little bit little spot. And then there will be a tiny little flame patch here. But make sure you move out right as the charge happens. And then a teeny tiny little spot here. Stuff like this here, you want to practice a lot. It'll make your keys go a lot smoother. And it will look like you are a massive Chad next to your teammate. Saying like, oh, I got this, guys. Don't worry. And they'll go like, Savior. He must be following KillerChris on twitch.tv/KillerChris, which you should too if you want to be a massive chat and save your teammates. Links to that on my other social medias is below. Alright, here you go. Tip number 4. Communication. It is important. It is the cornerstone of every successful relationship. But who are we kidding? We're playing World of Warcraft. We don't have no relationships. But you know what communication is also good for? Keys. Of course, voice will be the best to go on voice with your teammates to communicate and coordinate your interrupts, kicks, CCs, routes, stuff like that. Cooldowns. So if you have cooldowns up, hey, we can pull a bit bigger. Or if you're like running out of time, okay, cool, let's play it safe and just like deplete the key. Or let's like do a few big pulls and try to Hail Mary it and see if we can time the key that way. That way you'll also learn a lot about doing bigger pulls and saving time for future keys. It's a good way to practice. It will significantly increase your chance of success, especially because you can like play around each other a lot better. It's a lot easier. But if you don't have voice as much as like sharing a route beforehand, tracking your teammates' abilities, CCs, or like going over like, cool, we're gonna do this strat. This is how we're gonna play this boss. This is what we're going to do. Everybody agree? Cool. Let's go. It'll make sense. Like when you start to do this here. And my advice to you, if you run into a pug, if you're playing pugs, and your teammates that have signed up for your key or the key you've joined does not like just refuses to communicate. It happens quite often a lot if they're speaking a different language and don't speak English or stuff like that, or if it's Spanish service you're playing on and you're like queuing over with a bunch of Spanish people and there's one guy who's speaking Hebrew or something. I don't know. If people are just not on the same page with language, like just like say, okay, cool guys, this ain't gonna work. Or you can just send it. Or like communication is a massive help. And of course your last tip, number 5.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for.
So this here may come as a shocker to somebody, but like from the few people I asked in Method and a round of my other high-rated friends who are playing like at a 3.5 or higher, this was their thing. I had already written it down in the script. This was one of the things that I like to do and think is a massive step forward in like getting better keys done. Network with players. People you enjoy playing with or generally have fun playing with. Most importantly, if you have fun playing with people, right? You can always grow together as players. If you're playing about the same level and you're about equally good, a little bit worse, a little bit better, then don't get hung up in the details. But if you have fun playing with somebody, add them to your battle and get them in a Discord server. Build a little community around you guys are having a little team. This is us. We're pushing together and we're playing together in our little bubble of people who are playing together. That will significantly help you push keys. Do you want to know why? Do you want to know the worst part about pugs is? Pugs. Random players who are always thinking of themselves first. There's no camaraderie. There's no team spirit. There's nothing. everybody is thinking of themselves and blaming everybody but themselves. And everybody's generally acting like massive Okay, nice. Cool, we can play at this time. Sometimes we'll push as many keys. We have a few hours, like Sunday night. Cool, let's play Sunday night. Oh, Jimmy can't come. Cool, we'll ask somebody else if they can take Jimmy's place for tonight or whatever. Network with players. Figure out who you like playing with and then help grow. That is essentially what's going to help you push to the title and push the keys that are really, really difficult. Not playing Demon Hunter, because Demon Hunter is really good right now, or re-rolling Paladin. Don't forget to tell me in the comments what you thought of these tips here. Were they helpful? Did they help you? And do you have some other tips you want to share with people? I'll upload the good tips down in the comments as well. And I'm kidding. It definitely matters if you follow me over on Twitch. If you follow me over on Twitch, you'll instantly gain 100 score. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care. Bye!